What's up, y'all? It is your girl, Sarah from Sarah's Styles here. If you're wondering about wholesale, boutiques, and how to sell on Poshmark, or even just amazing tips for Poshmark, I am sitting down today with a seller who averages between 10 and 20 grand a month on Poshmark, some months as high as 30 grand. She's also a mom of two little kids, so we will be talking about how she manages it all and then how to make that kind of money reselling wholesale and boutique items on Poshmark. So stay tuned. Jen, welcome so much. Thank you for joining. If you guys do not know Jen, she is an amazing reseller, the best TikToker. So you have to follow her TikTok. It cracks me up. All of her videos are so funny. I will link all of her social media and closets and stuff down below. But Jen is a OG Poshmarker. She has been on the app since 2013, and she does boutique and wholesale, which is a completely new realm to me. And she kills it. Like, she averages between 10 and 20 grand a month and has had months as good as $30,000. That's ridiculous. And it is so far outside of my realm. So I've had Jen to come on, talk to us a little bit about wholesale and boutique, maybe give us some Poshmark tips and other things that come up as well. So Jen, if I missed out on anything, or if you want to introduce yourself a little bit more, she's also a mom of little kids too. So we'll get into a little bit of that, how she does this with little kids at home. So welcome, Jen. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm Jen at Bellanblue. I have two kids, two very, very active boys. Jax, who just turned 4 yesterday, and Hunter, who's 2.5. And they keep me on my toes, I'll tell you that.
I know, and you're in California, right, too? So you guys are on like super lockdown. I can only imagine.
I have them all day with me, and I'm going crazy, but I'm not letting them go back yet. It's not safe for not in California, especially LA County right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It'll get better eventually. It has to. But I am just in awe of everything that you do. So let's get into it. Let's talk about wholesale and boutique. And before we get into tips and tricks on, how to wholesale, how to boutique, how to sell on various different platforms, why don't you give us a little bit of definitions for those, myself included? What is wholesale? What does that mean, and what does it entail?
Wholesale is okay. So Posh, I'm gonna say maybe was it 3 or 4 years? I'm gonna say four years ago they launched the wholesale portal. So you have to get certified to get in there. It's just there's like requirements, like you have to have 10 sales, you have to be, I think, an ambassador or something. Once you get certified, you can go into the portal. I act as a third party, so I buy inventory and I resell it. That's I'm the middle person for that. And I mean I try to find stuff. I buy stuff according to what's trending, what I can find for fair market value. So I want to give the best value to the buyers. And I mean, I want to see you guys succeed. So that's what wholesale is. We're the middle person. We provide the inventory for you guys to resell.
Oh, so you're not, oh, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I get it. So you're buying and then you upcharge just a few bucks or something, and then you sell it to other resellers for them to sell. So
Mm-hmm.
then they would buying it from you to sell at a boutique.
Yes, correct. And people do this because they're starting out. Some people are, I'm not going to say afraid, but they're hesitant to get a seller's permit. So they want to try this first. It's kind of like you're putting your toes into the water. You're not diving. You just want a taste of it.
Mhm.
And they don't want to go through the process of applying for a reseller's permit and doing the whole spiel and then taxes and all that first. So you try this out first. And I have many people who try out and buy it from the portal, and then later, they get comfortable and then they spread their wings and fly. And I'm happy to see them, start their little empire. And that's where they start, with the portal.
Got it. The portal in, excuse me, the portal in Poshmark.
Correct.
Right. So then Poshmark does all the back end stuff. So you don't have to get a license and do your taxes and everything as well. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, so for the people that want to test out being a boutique, you can go to the portal after you get certified and you've done the requirements, and then you can buy so they sell in batches. So you're gonna buy 3 packs. Usually it's 3 packs, like 3 items, small, medium, large, usually, or 6 packs, whatever each portal seller, how they package their items. So you buy it and then you resell it. You do not have to have a seller's permit to buy from the portal. So it's kind of not a go around, but it's a way for you just to test out the waters without going full in.
Yeah. And
And
they've already, I would assume Poshmark has already done a decent amount of research to provide you with reasonable stuff. So it's not like, I mean, because I can imagine it'd be very overwhelming, where if you do it in Poshmark, you have a little bit less
yes,
overwhelming. I would
yeah.
imagine. I haven't done it.
When I first got into boutique, I mean, when I first went in, it was like, oh my gosh, all this information that you're just trying to absorb, right? So when you go to the portal, what I do is I try to, I'm gonna mentor them. So when they come in, I'm like, they ask me what are the best sellers, what are the price points, what's gonna sell, and what they want to do. So they come to me and they're like, look, I want to open a boutique. Can you help me? This is what the style I'm looking for. This is the price point I want to pay. And I kind of just lead them through the process. So it's kind of like I don't just sell products, I'm helping them along the way as well. So that's why people shop with me.
That's awesome. Okay, so you are purchasing, we're talking wholesale because you also have a boutique. So we'll talk about the boutique in a second. But so wholesale, you are buying from Poshmark. Do you physically get those items from Poshmark and then you sell them and then you
Oh,
ship them to the other person, or you're just the in between and kind of connect them and you get like a commission off of that or something?
oh no, no, no. So with Poshmark, they don't supply us items. I have to go look source them myself. So yeah, so
Oh.
basically we're like totally separate. So Poshmark is just providing the platform for me to sell to be the third party, but I actually have to go source each item to sell.
Oh, I see. I thought Poshmark provided. Okay, so this is interesting. So Poshmark is kind of providing you the connections with buyers
Yes.
who are looking for.
Mhm.
Got it. I thought Poshmark was providing it. So you are going out to these wholesale
Yes.
places and finding the stuff and then bringing it and shipping it to.
Yes. And so we do, they basically just giving us the platform. It's exactly the same as if you were a boutique doing the same thing. You have to ship it, you got to source it, you got to, find your customers. Like it's the same exact idea, concept.
That seems really scary because you're probably having to buy a lot of like large amounts and hope that it's stuff that people want, right?
Well, the great thing is this, I live in downtown LA and I mean, literally right where the wholesale district is. I know people have to buy or source from other states, but I literally can drive there. I'm friends with the vendors. Like, I build a personal relationship. So they tell me what the good stuff are, the good selling items that's trending, and they help me too. So I'm literally a neighbor to where the goods are in LA.
And then you don't have to pay shipping too, right? Because that's like I do liquidation and sometimes the shipping on that is hundreds of dollars that you have to bake into your cost.
Insane amount. I know shipping every time, we're like, anytime you hear the price and then the shipping on top of it, sometimes it costs half
Mhm.
of the price. You're like,
Yeah, it's not a
especially
good deal anymore.
like jeans or like bags or something. No, I have, I'm gonna say, the luxury of going there directly and bypassing the shipping part.
Well, and being in LA too, you probably have access to some really good stuff
Mhm.
too,
Yeah,
right? And they know
there's
what
a
they're
bunch
doing.
of stuff. Yeah.
See, now this is why I don't like doing interviews because every time I interview someone new, I'm like, well, I need to do this. Like I was talking to someone the other day and they sell only books. And I was like, well, I need to just start selling books. Right. And now I'm like, all right, Jen, I might hit you up after this and we may start looking at some wholesale stuff. It sounds really interesting and intriguing. Okay, so wholesale, you are connecting people who want to buy large new tag boutique items. But then you also have, so you're in the portal for wholesale, but you also have a boutique. So you are then taking that wholesale stuff and selling it on Poshmark as well, right?
Yes. So I usually try to do different items. So they don't want you to blend both, because then, they know you have two closets and they don't want, let's say for example, if you sell something, for a certain amount of price, and a 3-pack, and then later you sell at your boutique, and this is the same buyer that sees it, they're like, wait a minute, you don't want to compete with your the buyers.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
so different items. And I've had my boutique up for March 2013 when I started, but I was solely just there to sell my pre-loved bags. That's how it started. And then I sold one bag. I was like, well, this feels nice, right? So I'm trying to find stuff, anything to sell at that point. And then my pile that was supposed to be getting small kept getting bigger. Boyfriend Sam's like, hey, I thought you were supposed to get rid of stuff. I started buying more than I was selling. And that's where the idea of, wait a minute, I was watching these two huge boutique closets and I admired them so much. And I was thinking, well, I wasn't happy with my job. if these gals can do it, why can't I? Why can't you? I mean, you got to try it. And that's how it started. March 2013, January 2014 is when I started boutiquing. But prior to that, I was just buying.
So
And
how did
then that's
like
where,
how did you get into boutique? Were you like how did you know this wholesale district? How did you like I would never think to go into boutique, especially before there was even a wholesale portal in Poshmark. Like how did you
yeah,
make that jump to boutique?
I was really scared. I did not know anything, guys. This is it. It's like, okay, I am the type of person that I'm comfortable where I'm at, right? But I saw the
Mhm.
potential of these, like I said, those two huge boutiques, S. Cannon, Miss Aisha. I mean, I adored them. I was buying a lot, okay? And I'm like thinking, hey, I should be, I want to be that person. I want to be them. So that's where I started. I started very small because I was scared. I dipped my feet in. Like I said, I wasn't diving with a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't have room to store. I was living in a little tiny apartment. So I started with jewelry and accessories. And as I slowly built it up, and I built up the confidence to, get out of my little space and try new things. And then now I'm a one-stop shop. I try to have everything. I have men's, children's, homes. I try to get everything in the boutique so that it hits all categories, so that I get all the customer base if possible. So
And
now,
bundles probably too, right? Like they can buy a
yes,
top and a necklace and
yes.
a yeah.
I want
That's
them to come in and feel like they could build their whole outfit and then just leave with everything.
so where do you I mean that sounds like a lot and LA I'm assuming I mean I don't know your living situation, but I know LA and you don't typically get a ton of space. Is this all out of your house or do you have like a storage unit? Because that's the thing too. Like I got into liquidation, which is kind of the same, but a little different, right? So it's new attacks buying from like big stores or other liquidation spots. But I'm like, I'm out of my house and I'm out of room, right? And I'd imagine if you're also selling wholesale, you probably have a ton on hand. So how do you deal with the storage situations?
Oh my gosh, I lived in one bedroom apartment, if you can imagine when I started, and then two-bedroom apartment. We converted one of the rooms into like a storage area. Still wasn't enough. I still remember when Amanda came to interview me from Poshmark, and I had to literally throw everything into my bedroom so that she can have somewhere to sit. Okay, so now I live in a four-bedroom house, and I'm in my office. If I panned over, you would laugh. I also have a warehouse because I definitely outgrew. I have a warehouse, and my garage is also storage. It's everywhere.
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm imagining. I can't imagine you not having to have a warehouse, right? Um, This is really interesting. And I'm probably gonna hit you up after this and kind of dip my
Of
toes in it.
course.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. 2020 forced me to try a lot of new things that I wouldn't because I used to only do thrifted and then thrift stores were closed down. So I've kind of ventured out and I'm all about doing calculated risk. And I love how I mean, it's a great tip. Start off small. It's easy to store jewelry. You're probably not making huge profits on each item, but it kind of lets you dip your toes and see what sells and what works and how to kind of do it. So I want to get into a little bit of Poshmark because you kill on Poshmark. Like you are, and I've seen a decline in Poshmark and I think kind of some things are happening. But you totally kill over there. So any tips that you have, boutique or not, any tips that you have for people who are new on Poshmark or even seasoned sellers that help you continue to get turnover in your store and make those sales?
I want to say 2020 was challenging for everybody. I'm gonna say, including myself. Don't give up. I know you just have to stay persistent, and we got to write this out. And 2021 is. I was hoping would just be a total change around, but it's kind of a continuation. But I have faith. The vaccine is here. People will start buying again once we can get out of the house and actually wear the stuff we buy.
Mhm.
Myself, I am, kind of a buyer, a therapeutic buyer, because I'm like feeling like whatever. So people are doing that right now. People are focused on buying. So because they're at home all day, they have nowhere to go. Once we beat this and people can go out and do the regular life things, it'll start picking back up. And networking is key. Sarah is good at social media. You have to be strong in that too, because basically you're selling your brand everywhere, and it's a consistent routine. You have to just keep going, don't give up, and just for me, Poshmark, I love it, but I'm not gonna lie, it's not as easy as it used to be. When I first joined, my PFF and I, Tanya Kara, she would always tell me, do
Okay.
you remember the days when we first joined and literally money was raining on us? That's how we felt. That's how we felt. We're like, we're making all this money. Now it does require more effort. You have to share more. You actually have to build, not like you didn't before, but now even more so, build the relationship with your buyers to have them come back and be repeat buyers, and just do your daily grind. But do not give up. Just keep going, and it will get better, guys.
Do you, and because I've wondered this about boutique closets, I feel like you almost have to have a really good social media presence to get people over there, because it's not like I sell a lot of used, or my liquidation is branded items where people are coming in and they're looking for free people. They're looking for these brands. They don't care if they're buying from me, but I feel like with boutique and even wholesale, you need to have more of a connection with the buyer, and maybe even a more social media presence to direct people to boutique. Am I making that up, or does that seem?
No, I agree. You have to build that relationship, and you have to keep them coming back, because there's okay with boutiques in the beginning. Why I say it was raining money, there was only a handful. You could remember. You could say, oh, you can name them off the top of your head.
Mhm.
Now, because it's the portal is allowing people to dip their feet in the market on Poshmark. If you feel slower, this is how I feel. It's become saturated.
Mhm.
Saturated with full of whatever it is. It could be thrifted, whatever, too many free people or too much boutique of the same items.
Yeah.
So if you get more people selling the same items, it's going to be harder to sell. The only thing that for me you could sell is yourself, your customer service, whatever you free gifts or whatever your thing is. You could brand yourself. Like I have a logo. Everyone knows me. It's like two blue hearts. So when they see it on the thing, they're like, it's Jen. Whatever it is that you do to set yourself and your closet apart, is gonna really, really help you.
Yeah. And I mean, I would agree with that from my perspective too, from thrifted and even now doing liquidation. It's definitely getting oversaturated on Poshmark. So I know you started on Poshmark. Are you venturing outside of Poshmark to kind of pick up the slack that's happening on Poshmark? I think we've talked and you've mentioned some other places that you sell. What's your thought with, venturing outside of Poshmark?
Do
Real
not.
quick, my son just turned on the water. Can you hear that?
Oh, yeah, I could hear it a little bit.
Hold on. Let me go have him turn it. Maybe I'll keep it in because that's real mom life.
Yeah.
So what was the question? Oh, venturing outside of Poshmark. Because I think for everyone, I'm noticing that everyone that I talked to, 2020 happened. They just went IPO, so maybe that'll change things. But I think there has been a lot of change on Poshmark. Do you sell on other places, and kind of what is your thought on venturing outside of Poshmark?
I definitely do not put your love Poshmark, and they are still my standard. I put because I love them, but I also know that you need many branches of income. Put your eggs in a whole bunch of baskets. I ventured out to Amazon. I love them, and they hold a huge market share. Like 35% of people shop from there, right? So Amazon, I do love them. I have a love and hate relationship with them because of the return policy. They can return for any reason. I sell clothing, so I get a lot of returns. But it's going to be fit, like they don't like it, whatever the reason. The point, Amazon forces you to accept all returns. So I love them, and I'm still on there. I also sell on my boutique, Bellanblue.com. I'm working on building that and getting folks over there as well. I just want to tell everyone, do not. I mean, there's a whole bunch of cross-listing apps. Go, try everything. If you get $100 from this one, you get $50 here. You get, $30 here. It all adds up. So do not just stay with one. I mean, I hear so many people and so many success stories from 2020. Like what we said, the virus hit, and you're like, oh no, my one stream of income isn't cutting it. And be open-minded to you gotta just brainstorm and do what you can. Try them all. Just go out there, go crazy with it.
Yeah, and I'm totally with you. And when 2020 hit, I tried a whole bunch. But you also have to be mindful of right, like your time is money, and it does all add up, but I think you also have to be mindful of if you're cross listening to all of them and they're not all bringing you, like, just be conscious of your time, which I know, I mean, you are as well, but just for the
Yeah.
viewers out there as well.
You actually brought up a good point. I used to sell on eBay. I don't know. I know you guys kill it on eBay. It didn't work for me. So I had to, it wasn't working. So I had to cut that out.
But that's, and this is what's amazing about reselling is there's so many different platforms and something works different for everybody. But as long as you're conscious of your numbers and what is working you and what you are spending your time on, I think you can make it work, which I think you are, you know, showing us that we pivot and we change things and you were like, oh, I'm buying more. And so you pivoted into a boutique, and something different works for everybody. Just be mindful of, you know, this is the story of my channel, be mindful of your numbers and making good decisions based off of them. So I want to talk a little bit about the returns on Amazon. You have to accept all of them, but most of them come back and you can sell them again, or most of them you just have to write off and they're done. So
no, you can resell it again. It's just the process of, you know, doing it. I mean, I love the great thing I love about Poshmark is this. If you send out exactly what they ordered in the size and it's in the condition that you stated is, that's it. It's done. I love that because then it's fair. It's fair for the seller and the buyer. That's the guarantee I love about Poshmark, and that's why I've stayed there. You know, even my boutique, there's return. And it's clothing. It's hard. I am thinking about for Amazon, if you do decide to go into there, not do clothing, but if you do baby products, homewares, you get much less returns, and they're good sellers. I mean, I have a girlfriend. She got into a car accident. I'm sorry, a motorcycle accident. So she could not move, and she was in healthcare. And with COVID hitting, that was out. And I'm thinking she's sitting there not doing anything. You know, it's been a few months. I contact her. She's killing it at Amazon, selling, like I said, baby products. See, like, so you got to branch out, do your thing, evolve with the times. Sarah, she's very humble, but she kills it on eBay. Okay, she kills it on eBay. So
I'm not to your level though, girl. Not at all, but yes. And that's what has me thinking about the return, because eBay, you have to do returns. They don't force it like Amazon, but they force it like Amazon. You can have no returns, but buyers know well enough that eBay is going to force a return. If you say it, they can lie about it. And they give you way better status if you have returns. And so I have returns on, but I sell mainly clothing. So it's about a 5% return rate that I have on eBay, but it's kind of just baked into my business model. And most of them sell before I even put them back into inventory. And so I was just wondering how it works with Amazon, if you're getting a lot of things that are ruined and you can't resell them, or if it's just added time, you know, because then it's out of the market too, right? Like it has to ship there and then shipped back, and it's not been on the platform for 3 months or a month or whatever.
Got a few items back where I can't resell because it has it's been worn. You could smell perfume on it, or there's a whole bunch of animal hair, but there was just a few, but I can resell it. But I think the margin though on, I don't know if it's just for boutique items, but I get way too many where I'm kind of discouraged with Amazon. That's why I want to go over to actual products versus clothing on Amazon. I just don't feel that the amount of effort I put in, you know, with the outcome isn't that great. So I am gonna try doing actual products, and I think that might be better because I have a few friends who do sell just products and not clothing items, and they make 6 figures on Amazon, good chunks of money.
I've heard that too, and I've had a couple of people on telling me that it just doesn't seem nearly as fun. But I do like the return for less work, right? You know, I have someone who was on my channel a couple of weeks ago, you know, she's selling like beauty, health and beauty type. And I'm like, well, that's not fun to source and shop. But, you know, she's like, it's just continued passive income, and then you can go source your clothing and stuff. So I do want to be mindful of your time as well as the viewers' time, balancing it all. So you are killing it on all these platforms. It's got to be a ton of work, but you're also at home with a 2 and a now 4-year-old. A lot of the people who watch my channel are also moms. I'm a mom of 3 kids. It seems very overwhelming to kind of balance it all. So any tips and tricks that you have to make it work with children or a full-time
Okay,
job? If
lots
you're
of
just,
caffeine.
yeah.
I'm gonna say you're staying home, lots of caffeine, and in the evening, have your bottle of wine ready. No, it is a lot of balance, and my boys are extremely attached to me. They're always on me because they're at that age. It's just finding time. Any spare time that I can, I'm working. I'm working around their schedule. Jax has speech therapy virtually, so I'm on there with him 3 times a week, and then luckily I have help from the grandparents. Thank God during that time, but it's just a lot of balancing. And moms, before I had my kids, I always tell people this: I never wanted to be a mom. It wasn't just for me. I met Sam, my boyfriend, and he changed my mind. We tried to have kids, and being a mom is the hardest job in the freaking whole world. I don't care what anybody says. They should get paid shit of money because it's so much that you have to do on top of being a boss mom, right? It's just a lot of balancing act, and there are days that I just want to cry, go into a hole and just cry, but it's all worth it, and we can do it.
I love your transparency because it's so, and I think 2020 hit even harder than, being a mom before 2020 because we've been, and I love my children too, but until they started school last year or last week, they were with me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with no breaks, right? And pre 2020, we're not even getting childcare or grandparents helping. But you could go to the zoo, you could go to the museum, I would go to the gym every day, and sometimes I wouldn't even work out. I would just get 2 hours of childcare, right? And so I think 2020 hit, and it has been really hard. And I appreciate your transparency through that on this interview, but then also your social media as well. As I mentioned, Jen's TikToks, a lot of her TikToks are mom TikToks and, funny wine ones. And I sit down on TikTok most evenings because it just cracks me up. And you always come up and just give me a huge smile. And that's how I think I first met you through a Posh and Sip or something. You asked me to donate something. And I kind of just stay in my realm and I don't get too much on social media, not really know who people are. And then I started learning it, and I was like, she is like killing it. But you were just so nice and humble, and you would never know any of that. And I really appreciate your transparency and everything on social media, as well as your mentorship on social media, the Posh and Sips, but now that I learned more about your wholesale, doing that as well. So I really appreciate you coming on and sharing all of this knowledge with us. Jen is amazing on Poshmark, and she's great at social media. So I'm sure if you have more questions, you can leave the comments down below, and I will make sure that she can get to them or send her a DM on Instagram or on Poshmark. Well, you can't DM on Poshmark, but you can leave her a comment on Poshmark, and I'm sure that she will get back to you and be helpful and supportive. Again, thank you so much for coming on. If there's any last tips or words of wisdom that you'd like to share before we sign off.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. She's super sweet, boss mom to the max. But keep going, guys. Don't give up, and the light is at the end of the tunnel. We're gonna get there.
Thank you, Jen.
Bye.